Jameis Winston, man. Uh, we got to ask ourselves the question: is he gonna be able to bounce back? Of course, he suffered a leg injury yesterday in the win against us against Tampa. Um, and I'm gonna say this, man. Jameis Winston, man, he's been having a hell of a season. Uh, Jameis Winston, for those of y'all that don't know, uh, I like Jameis Winston, being that he has for what he did coming out of Florida State. I was already on it. I knew when he stepped in early as an underclassman at Florida State and took over. I knew it was something special about him. However, there is a flip side to Jameis Winston. The fact that he didn't have his head on straight when he had came in. He made some boneheaded decisions. His play on the field wasn't any much better either. He failed us plenty of times due to him not being focused and just him not piping down and being focused as he should have. And see, sometimes, man, it takes some humble pie in order for you to truly get better at something, or in this case, get better at your craft. Uh, I believe that Jameis Winston, he can he can he can bounce back through hard work. Now, it looked serious, but it didn't look so serious to the point where he couldn't bounce back. But you got to wonder if if he'll be the same mobility wise, because we're talking about the knee. And now, when they had slowed it down, I was kind of like, I was bracing myself because I didn't want it to be that bad. Now, it didn't look that bad from the outside looking in, but when they had slowed it down or whatnot, I I was just thinking like, okay, we are talking about a guy that's 6'6", 6'6", and weighs up, and I want to say that about 270, somewhere around there. We are talking about a guy that's long, so his structure on how he's built is a little bit different. It might affect him different than it will somebody else. So, but the fact is that we're not in his body in order to feel what he felt, and that's why, like, when he initially had got up, he actually fell down again. A lot of people don't I don't think a lot of people were aware of that, or if you watch the game. But I was like, man, this dude, he couldn't even get up. He tried, and the fact that he tried to get up and he tried to walk, that said a lot about him. Look, I know a lot of people done been on Jamin. I've been on this helmet too. As much as I like him, I had to be on this helmet too. The reason why I was on Jameis Winston's helmet is because he has, like, if you look at Jameis Winston, I'll break it down. Physical wise, he got the height. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, 6'5", 6'6", 6'7" area. Uh, in tremendous shape. He's an athletic build. Okay. Then on top of that, athletic wise, He can run. He can really run. He can move. I mean he floats when he runs. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, just go watch him. Go watch him break a defense down. And the thing about it is he doesn't do it all the time. Then you say what you want. He has a pretty ball when he throws. And another thing is that Jameis Winston, I don't think a lot of people take into account, is that he has great downfield accuracy. He's got an arm. He got a cannon, and he's got all of the had all the tools necessary, in my opinion, to become one of the best ever. Just like Vince Young. When I think of Jameis Winston, I think of a guy like Vince Young. Same body type, same type of style, except for Vince Young, he threw a little bit different. But even still, Vince Young had downfield accuracy too as well, and that's why like I felt like Jameis Winston had all the tools necessary to to be an all-time great. It was the mental aspect of the game, the mental aspect of the game has a lot to do with how successful you are. I was very disappointed in him. I felt like Jameis Winston, like you felt like you knew him when he got in trouble and was doing all these boneheaded stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like you felt like you knew him, and I said to myself, I started to give up on Jameis. I said, man, I don't know about this guy anymore. You know, but this season he has played great. He has played great, and even the previous game in which they only won by three. I think it was eight or ATL if I'm not mistaken. I forgot who they played against, but they only won by 3 points. That had a lot to do with the defense. That was a defensive game. That wasn't a offensive game. That game was won on sheer defense. And you're gonna have games like that. But the fact that he was able to withstand it and still be able to get the win, that was great. Now, this is another thing too. I don't think a lot of people are looking at too. Sean Payton has brought the best out of Jameis Winston. I know a lot of people, they're not a fan of Sean Payton. They can't get over the fact of what happened and all this other stuff, conspiracy theory, things of that nature. You know, but sometimes, man, you gotta stop looking at stuff, that way. Everybody looks at stuff so one-sided to the point where, okay, if something happened, controversy that took place, they can't get over the controversy. Well, you gotta be able to shake that, and let's get back to sports sometime. Look, Tom Brady. I understand. Tom Brady is always in there every year. Okay, but my thing is this: we got to get back to football, and you actually gotta put some logic to what you're saying. Look, man, uh, I don't always attach cheating or any racial, them saying, okay, well, yeah, Tom Brady, he's white, we got to put him in there and all this other stuff. No, I don't feel that way because when the odds were stacked against Tom Brady, he time and time again has came and proved people wrong. Listen, if if it was if the NFL were so, like, I guess you could say, uh, wanted him to win or wanted him to be in it every single year or whatnot, then how come Mahomes had actually beat him? Okay, how come Eli Manning has actually beat him? How come he's had little to none to work with in terms of him going to Tampa Bay, a totally different situation, and then he started off really, really slow. He was playing horrible. Well, not horrible, but he wasn't playing like the Brady that you accustomed to seeing. And then he came on late at the end of the season. You have to give him this. Is he the most talented quarterback in the world? Absolutely not. Mahomes is way more talented than Brady would ever think of being, and so is Lamar Jackson, and so is Jameis Winston. I think Jameis Winston is more talented than from a talent wise, way more gifted than Tom Brady. But as far as mental edge, cerebral, getting things done when it really mattered, making little to no mistakes, got to give it to Tom Brady. And that was one of the reasons why the Patriots were so successful too, is because their margin of error was very, very slim. They really didn't make hardly any mistakes. And when you played the Patriots, you really couldn't make any mistakes because they would capitalize upon it. So I don't get into all the cheating, conspiracy stuff like that, because it makes you not really even want to look at, make you look at football. I was with some of my LDBC brothers when they was like, look, all right, man. Hopefully y'all can hear me. All right, look, what I was saying though, because I asked everybody to put a one in the chat, but I guess y'all bounced out real quick. Anyways, man, um, what I was basically saying, you talking to a guy, myself, that couldn't stand the Patriots, absolutely hated them, but I respected what they were doing. But I'm not gonna sit here and always be like, oh yeah, because I draw a double edged sword. Everybody's always like, oh yeah, well, man, I don't like Canelo because oh he cheated. Oh, well, why are you saying that? Did you actually go and do your research, or are you just saying it because somebody else said it? Well, I don't like Brady, man, because of, the white supremacy and all this other stuff. Are you saying it because somebody else said it? Come on, man. Like, you got to really listen to what you're saying sometimes. Ain't no way. Oh, okay, you heard, what's his name? I think it was Matthews. It was either Matthews or somebody. I don't think it was Matthews. It was one of the Eagles players, man. He came out and he basically called, he said the N word, man. And they caught him. But you never heard a thing like that about Tom Brady. Now look, can is anybody around him 24/7, 365 to know that? No. Okay, but from what I see, I don't I don't think that guy is like that. I mean, he just got a different demeanor. I mean, look, a lot of guys that play the sport aren't gonna. There's a lot of guys that don't smile that much, aren't really laughing and playing around and stuff like that. Giannis is like that. They just got a different demeanor, man. They're not with the joking in games or anything like that. They want to win. He got a demeanor of a winner. But I'm not trying to just harp on Tom Brady because this isn't about Tom Brady. This is about Jameis Winston. And I initially said Winston, yes, he's way more athletic than Tom Brady would ever dream of being. Now I just talked about Von Miller going to the Rams, right? Now the reason why I jumped on this subject right here is because we got to talk about aging in the NFL. You know, Von Miller's getting up there. Okay, he's an older veteran, and see, with Tom Brady, even though I don't have him playing at a that high of an MVP level as everybody may think. I put him up there, because okay, our record going in was okay, but we still haven't really been playing as great as we should be. But Von Miller has a chance to make his veteran presence felt, much like Richard Sherman had an impact on our young core out in the secondary. Von Miller has a chance to make his presence felt veteran wise with the Rams, and I think that the Rams see that. And some people are already calling the Rams the real deal. Hey, look, Matthew Stafford has been playing his ass off. Now you starting to see, okay, hey, look, when I have some weapons, when I have a good team surrounded around me, I can manage that motherfucker great because that's what they call him. They call really Matthew Stafford a game manager. And Matthew Stafford has been doing his thing. You know, look at Jared Goff when he went over there. The case of what happened when Carson Wentz went over to the Colts. And TJ, man, hey, I apologize, brother, but man, Carson Wentz, man, he's a walking injury, man. He's a fucking walking injury. But that's why, like, I respect Tom Brady, and I have him. You know, he is the best quarterback, of all time. You know, not talent wise, but how he's been successful, and just by him going to another organization and him doing it, I mean, right away, it speaks volumes. But see, they'll do anything to diminish your greatness. A lot of people will do anything to diminish your greatness. And with Jameis Winston, I feel bad for him, man. Now, let's hope he bounces back and he continues the pace that he's been going, because I did not want him to go down like that. I wanted him to capitalize. At least, if he wasn't going to make a Super Bowl, at least make it, real deep in the playoffs. It would have been a great story for him. And then, as I said before, Sean Payton, he's made Jameis Winston play at an extremely high level. Now, don't get it twisted, man. The Saints are doing good. They're a very well-rounded team, and they've been battle tested too as well. And y'all say what you want in football. It's best that you be battle tested earlier in the season, so that by then you're used to the grit and the grind and the grueling game that you possibly will have to face when you're in the playoffs, because it's going to get tougher. It's only going to get tougher. But I believe that Jameis Winston is gonna bounce back, and that injury was nowhere near the type of injury that Dak Prescott had. And I believe that when Dak comes back, he's gonna pick up where he left off. He's gonna pick up where he left off. So I'm not counting Jameis Winston out at all. Um, the new the NFC the NFC is way you couldn't say this last year. Now the NFC is really competitive. Last year you really couldn't say that. You really couldn't say that, with the exception of Green Bay and of course Tampa. But and even the NFC, like, see right now, what the NFC East, or last year they were calling it the NFC least. The NFC East right now, because they're not doing that good. Look, you got the Giants, they're 2-5. The Washington Redskins, they're 2-6. You know, 49ers, they won yesterday. I see you in the building. Salute to you, man. I see you in the building. Um, but like that, man. This season is gonna go down to the wire. It's really gonna go down to the wire. I think what Atlanta on the come up, man. You know, hey, think tank, man. Y'all almost got, hey, man, but y'all lost. Y'all lost yesterday. I'm talking about the World Series. Y'all lost. Well, y'all lost. Y'all lost to the. Y'all beat. I mean, y'all lost to the Panthers yesterday, and then y'all lost in the World Series too. I thought the Braves was going. Man, I thought the Braves was gonna come and win that thing, man. They really trying to make ATL a hub again, man. Like, well, it's always been a hub in my eyes, but they trying to make it. They trying to bring that, that sports scene back. You know, when you look, you got ATL. You know, you talk about the Hawks. Then you got to talk about, the Braves. They in the World Series. Then Atlanta Falcons, they made it to the Super Bowl, but they trying to bring them back. But the Hawks and the Braves, man, they trying to come with something. The Hawks team, you can't look at that team no more like, oh well, you know what? Nah, they just the Hawks. Nah, the Hawks are for real. And Trey Young, I'm gonna be real with you. Trey Young, he's not even my favorite player on the Hawks. I like Cam Reddish. It might be a little Duke bias there, but Cam Reddish, man, he nice with it. He nice with it. And I like Collins. I like Collins too. And I like Bogdanovich. But the Hawks, man, they got a squad, man. That team used to be like, oh well, you know what? Nah, they just the Hawks. Nah, you can't look at them. You can't look at them no more like that. Maybe you looking at the Falcons like that this year. And see, that's the thing, man. I thought Matt Ryan, man, was gonna end up being like one of the greats to play this game, man, and it just hasn't panned out well for Matt Ryan. And then I wanted Julio Jones to be successful. You know what I'm saying? Now look at Julio Jones. He over there with Tennessee. Look at them. Tennessee looking good. Now they 5-2. Tennessee is fucking 5-2, man. 5-2. Who would have thought Tennessee? Who would have thought Tennessee was gonna be making their presence felt? I certainly didn't. I thought the addition of Julio Jones was good, but I didn't think they were gonna do this great, man. Shoot, they have shocked the shit out of me. I'm being real. I'm being honest with you. So I done talked long enough, man. Hey, like this video, share it, subscribe, man. Hit the notifications too. Uh, and tell them, man, it's Polo Sports Talking Entertainment, man. I'll get at y'all later.